It's breezy out today, but I'm going to work on this armoire. This armoire was given to us by some dear neighbors, and they just didn't have room for it anymore. And after the hurricane, they decided it was time to part with it, and it will work perfectly in our guest room. Currently, it has a distressed finish, which was super popular, but I'm going to give it a fresh redo. Once I had the cabinet taken apart, I brushed the citrus strip all over. And I have used citrus strip numerous times and I've never had a problem, but I don't know what this cabinet was painted with, but it did not want to come off. It had stained the wood. A friend of mine said maybe it was like a milk paint or something, because there's like an enzyme in there that sort of like leaches into the wood or becomes one with the wood or something like that. So I have no idea what it was, but it did not want to come off and it made a horrible mess. The first day, my cousin came and helped, and we worked until it was dark out. And then we ended up just covering it up and got out early the next day. I was out there all day, got sunburnt. It was just miserable trying to get this thing cleaned up. And I used mineral spirits to clean it. And then I did a final wash with TSP. And then I did end up doing some sanding because I didn't know what else to do. And I can't tell you how many of those discs I went through on my sander. I had to let it sit for a few days before I would touch it again because it was just that depressing. Like the mess it made and how much work it was incredible. Then I was ready to jump back in. I used a spray primer that was recommended to me to specifically target anywhere there might be a stain or a knot hole that might show through. Since the outside of the cabinet's going to be white, I wanted to make sure I hit all those areas. I'm working on this armoire project and I wanted to take a quick break. This armoire has been killing me, but I feel a little bit better about it now. Now that I've gotten past the whole stripping stage, I think it'll be okay. What a nightmare that has been. Anyway, I sprayed the doors where there are knot holes with this primer, the Zisner primer that was recommended to me, and I'm going to spray the other side, but I had forgotten to wipe off one of the cabinets, and so it was really super rough and had lots of stuff on there. It was very grainy, and some of the other spots were grainy too because the grain of the wood had kind of picked up a little bit when I was working with it before. So I had this little thing and I didn't really give it much thought for a couple years. It's been in my craft room. It was like a gift at a conference. Never gave it a second thought, and I thought I probably will never use this. Thank goodness I haven't. Look at this, okay? It's this little spongy pad, so very easy to hold. Your finger goes there, you hold it here, and you can do little detail things, which is why they probably called it a detail sander. And it comes with little strips, different grits, 80 something, 150, and 220 or something along those lines. And it is making this finish perfect so I can move on to the next step. Look at this, it fits right into the channel. If you are redoing cabinets, if you are redoing a piece of furniture like this, any detailed work, you need this. This is not sponsored. I have never talked to the company, but I love it. And here, it was still in the package. See, it's Gator Finishing Products. Look at it. That's the label, and it's a micro tool. I'm telling you, you need this. You don't think you need it, but you need it. So it's getting late, and I had to close the garage door and bring a little extra light in here. It's hot in here, but I have a fan going, and this is the stuff they recommended to prime this puppy. So I'm gonna do that. I am bound and determined to prime it tonight. I'm gonna pour some in a separate container so I don't contaminate the paint or the primer in the can. I might end up using the whole thing, I just don't really know. So I gave everything a nice prime, and the primer went on beautifully, primed the whole thing, and then I had to let it dry for a full 24 hours before I could paint. But just with the primer, it looks fresher already. All right, good things are gonna start happening today. Looks pretty good, all primed up, and now is the fun part where I get to start painting, and it's gonna look even better. I'm gonna do a fun accent, fun knobs, but this is where the fun is, when you really start to put the finishing coat on, because everything looks better, smells better, feels better. Everything's great. So I did do like a sand in between just to make sure I have a really nice smooth finish. So this first color we're gonna use is the Benjamin Moore, and it's Morning Glory. It's this very light blue. It's just gorgeous. It's gonna dry just a little bit darker, and I'm doing this on the inside. I'm gonna have all the information down in the description if you need it. And here's a little tip. I do like to paint right out of the can, but I don't paint right out of the can because I might contaminate it if I get dust or anything in there. I've ruined my paint. So you save these little containers that are from, like this is like a soup from Costco, a shrimp wonton soup from Costco, and they're perfect. I just put paint in there and stuff like that. I do have a silicone one that I like also, that is a collapsible bowl, and I like that too. I just can't find it. I don't know where I put it. Must have been stuck someplace else after my last project. So I'm gonna do this, and this thing's gonna be so pretty. I started painting the inside, and look how pretty that is. It is even prettier than I imagined. Now this cabinet's a little awkward to paint because it's got a lot of tight corners. So I went back and forth between a paintbrush and then a paint roller to give it a nice smooth finish as best as I could. And as usual, I got it all over me. And then I moved on to doing the white on the outside of the cabinet. My cousin happened to stop by and she did the doors, and I could not wait to get it into the house. So as soon as I felt like it was dry enough, I made Greg help me bring it in. Then there was a cable sticking out behind it, so we had to quick snip that off before we could really push it into the corner. Look at that, looking pretty good already. Now I'm gonna put the doors on. Total transformation. I got to work putting the doors on and attached the hinges to the actual cabinet, and then I realized it's a whole lot easier if I attach it to the door first. I had to have Greg come in and hold the doors while I attached them. It was time for the knobs. I couldn't decide at the store which ones to go with, but this was my favorite. I thought this was totally going to be the winner because it offers a little contrast and stuff like that. Then I also really loved this one, which was my second favorite, which then leaped to the first because it has a lot of weight to it. Really liked it, thought it was super cute. Then I got this one in case I wanted to glam it up a bit. And then I had this one in case I wanted a cottagey feel. And then I had this one because, well, it's just fun. But in the end, we decided to go with this one. It's kind of a flower sun kind of look, and it's so pretty. Let me show you the inside of the cabinet real quick. Here it is. It's the blue. I have a couple areas of touch-up that I need to do, and I need to clean up the line down here. So I'm going to do that. It's coming together, and it looks really great. I love it, but we live in Florida, and I want to do something a little more tropical. So it looks good, but we wanted to add some fun to the cabinet, but it won't be permanent. All I did was I took my Cricut and did some removable vinyl, and we're going to put that on the doors. We're going to do flamingos, but if we change our minds, we can always put starfish on there, nothing on there, or just do anything we want. So I eyeballed it and put the flamingos on the door, and then I removed the transfer tape, and I think it looks really cute. And now I can change this anytime I want because I use a removable vinyl. So I hope you love it as much as I do, because I just think it turned out so pretty. And even though it was really frustrating, in the end, totally worth it.